So it's pretty clear to me that a lot of people felt like the weapons in Halo Infinite's flights felt kind of off. Should we be worried? What does that really mean? Well, I guess if you didn't get to play, then you'll never really get to know what we were talking about when we say something felt a little bit off with these weapons. In the upcoming builds, they might be tweaked and it might be feeling better, but regardless, as somebody who put in a ton of time on the flights, I am happy to share my thoughts. So let's start straight away with the battle rifle. Obviously big fan favorite, something that I want to talk about. Battle rifle feels really good in my opinion. I think this gun actually feels really solid. The problem is, as this is one of the few weapons that actually feels good, so I think a lot of people have now the impression that it is overpowered or it's too good, and maybe there's some truth to that. But it's hard to know how much of that is true when all the other weapons kind of feel bad and the battle rifle kind of actually feels okay. That okay turns into feeling amazing, and now it just outclasses everything else in the sandbox. So I think that's a problem. For the design positives of it, the sound design, the way it looks, all the way it handles, all of that, it completely outclasses every other weapon, so it kind of is a problem. The battle rifle honestly is too good, I think, right now. Also, personally, I think the battle rifle is a lot easier than something like the Halo 5 Magnum, but that's me. So if you're not a big battle rifle user, more than likely your other go-to is the assault rifle, so let's talk about that one next. The assault rifle is fucking broken. Shit is too strong. Honestly, I think there's a lot of good here, though. I think the design of it's nice. I think it actually feels pretty good to use. I just think it's way too good. I think it actually is far too strong of a weapon, at least compared to the other weapons in the sandbox currently. You feel oftentimes helpless shooting back against somebody who's using an assault rifle, and considering it's not that difficult to use the assault rifle, pretty much any player who's holding it is going to absolutely destroy you if you're within close to mid-range, even long range. So obviously I think we want to tune that down a little bit, because if we don't get some of these things balanced out, this game is going to get really boring and repetitive quickly. It's either going to be one player has a BR, or the other player has an assault rifle, maybe you're using a power weapon, but other than that, you're not going to touch anything else because it's not even worth it. But then moving on to the trusty sniper rifle, honestly, I think they did a really good job with this weapon. I talked about this briefly in another video that I made. I said something along the lines of, in my mind, the sniper rifle can never be too difficult. What I mean when I say that is that I believe that if a sniper rifle's hard or the hitboxes are smaller or anything like that, once we adjust to that, then the sniper rifle will actually be really great and we'll have a good, comfortable feeling on how difficult it really is. We'll be able to say I love how difficult the Halo Infinite sniper is because I know exactly how hard it is to shoot it and I know what precision is required. I think that's part of the thing that'll keep us falling in love with this weapon and keep us coming back to it. I know a lot of people are concerned it's a little bit too difficult for some people that are just trying to pick up and play, so maybe they can find some sort of something to help that out. I'm not really sure. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of this design. I love the sound design of it, I love the actual aesthetic design of it, and I love the way it handles. The hitboxes are great, all of it, huge fan. The Sidekick is a pretty controversial one. If you guys are not new to my channel, then you know I love Halo 5 and I've uploaded a ton of Halo 5, which features the prominent Halo 5 Magnum, and when comparing the Halo Infinite Sidekick to the Halo 5 Magnum, which I think is a dumb comparison, they're not meant to fill the same role within the sandbox, so it's really pointless. The Sidekick looks bad, but you know, to that point, the Sidekick looks bad really compared to anything, because the Sidekick just kinda is bad. It has an insanely fast time to kill, probably one of the fastest in the entire game, honestly. 7-shot kill. If you can manage to land all 7 as fast as you can pull the trigger, then congratulations. We obviously know about the bloom mechanic. There's not much to elaborate on here. Bloom makes things random. Nobody really likes that. What? A lot of people will, come back and say the Sidekick's meant to be a sidearm. It's meant to be a cleanup weapon. And I hear that. I still think this right now is a little too weak. I think we can make this feel a little bit better. Me personally, I don't need it to be as strong as the Halo 5 Magnum, but I would like to see it be a little bit less weak, a little less Halo 2 Magnum, a little more Halo 4 Magnum, you feel me? If you guys have played those Halos, you get what I'm saying. The Commando is this new fun weapon design that essentially replaces the DMR and makes it a fully automatic DMR with a ton of bloom to compensate for. Kind of a fun idea to fill the sandbox role with this new unique weapon. It's a 7-shot kill, super fast time to kill if you're able to land all your bullets straight away. But you see, the big thing I can't get over with the Commando is every time that I'm using it, even when I find that I'm starting to do well with it, I just ask myself why? Why are we using this weapon? Why did we decide to introduce this into the sandbox and not something like the DMR? I get it, it's supposed to be this new kind of different weapon that's a little bit more difficult to use, but even so, I just feel like ultimately, why are we doing this? I don't like this weapon that much, even though, I'm starting to get a feel for it and do pretty well with it. As a controller player, this gun up close feels really awkward. Mid to long range, it's pretty straightforward, but once you get within those closer ranges, it is a very awkward gun to handle, and the bloom makes it even weirder. Overall, I don't really know what we could do with it, but something I feel like would be better. Maybe reduce the bloom and reduce the fire rate. I don't know. Maybe it's fine the way it is. Maybe we just need more time with it. I guess we'll see. Rockets, I mean, bravo on the aesthetic and audio design. I think they did a great job with both of those things. However, the actual performance of it seems like a pretty tight hitbox on the enemy, which isn't so bad, except it also seems like inversely, there's larger splash damage on yourself. It actually seems like there's a larger explosion radius for personal damage shot from your own rockets versus the actual damage you can do to your enemies. This guy kills me with rockets, but also kills himself. I don't really know if this should be the way it is, but this seems like a common thing that keeps happening with this version of the rocket launcher. He killed himself there? How big is the rocket explosion, bro? Like, you guys think that should have been a trade? Because I don't. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of bad things about the Bulldog. I think first and foremost, it's important to note that this is not meant to be the exact same type of shotgun as what we've seen in the earlier Halo installments. That said, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a cool weapon. I enjoy it. I mean, you know, I've been using it kind of as a close range sort of just precision weapon, except you don't have to be that precise because it's a shotgun. But if you shoot it semi-automatic in, you know, close range fights, you'll dominate. And I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy the weapon. You can also be sure to hit a, you know, up close shot in melee, just like the good old shotguns would always do you well. So I think it's a great gun. The shock rifle's biggest impact to me is looking like a wonder weapon from the Call of Duty Zombies series. It's basically a weird sniper that's kind of half sentinel beam. You know, it's a shot, one shot to the head, two shots to the body if you can do it. You know, I've heard a lot of people say something along the lines of like, you know, why would I ever want this over the real snipe? And I kind of agree with that sentiment. It's a strange gun. To me, it doesn't really feel like it fits within the world. Again, it honestly makes me think of Call of Duty, and I don't really know how I feel about this gun. Not a huge fan. Maybe I just need more time with it, but not in love with it right now. The Needler I didn't use too much, but it seemed like it was pretty effective if you were out in the open. You know, the Needler is one of those weapons that it's gonna punish you if you have no cover to get behind. You gotta fear the pink mist. The needles are gonna be coming for you if you have nowhere to run. So I think that kind of fits the exact same sandbox boy that kind of always has. The Needler's supposed to be good, you know? I don't hate the fact that it does its job pretty well. The Heatwave honestly felt pretty damn useless the entire time I was using it. Every time I picked it up, expecting it to do more damage than it did, it never really did. It kind of just felt like one of those, like, this will chip away the shields types weapons. It feels like it's created to be used in close range, but when you're utilizing it in close range, it doesn't necessarily feel like a great weapon. It kind of feels average. So it's almost like, why do I want this on my person? I could just be using something like the assault rifle. And then honestly, I can't remember the last name of that weapon, the one that shot the fire out of it. I hated that gun, absolutely hated it. I just don't like it. Don't like it. I do not like it. That's it. So overall, like, should we be worried? You know, I don't know if I feel that way. You know, a lot of these weapons, I think there's a lot of good here. A lot of things could be tweaked, and I think that they will. So overall, should we be worried? No, I think that's why we had the flights to talk about this stuff. You know, hopefully a lot of this feedback gets passed forward, and I think they hear a lot of the criticism that the aiming felt a little bit off and that something about the weapons didn't quite feel right. Now, I think they're having a hard time trying to make sure it balances well between mouse and keyboard and controller, and that's why we're doing these flights a little bit early so they can do the necessary tweaks to try to get the best balance that we can. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys thought some of these weapons were great, let me know. If you guys thought some of these weapons were bad, let me know. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to think. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys in the next one.